All right, John, we back.
Yeah, so
maybe you got a better. Some may say this is a better opponent for you, Omar Figueroa.
This is
you know,
a better fight all the way across the board because this is a fight I've been wanting. You know, so what can I say? I mean, this is a fight I asked for. This is the first time in my career I get the guy I wanted specifically. Again, there's not saying anything bad about Figueroa. It's just I think stylistically it's a great fight.
Why him?
I think stylistically it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that it's going to be a spontaneous combustion, even more so than any other guy I've ever fought. Because one, he doesn't know how to lose. I'm going to have to teach him that night. And two, stylistically I think it's going to be a great fight.
Now, both of you, if I'm not mistaken, both of you have had Fight of the Year stuff-up center or pretty close to it, right? I know you've gotten it, but he was in a war too. He was in a war too. I was there. Yeah, he was in a war. He won, but he was in a war.
Well, here's the difference between that war and my war. With all due respect to the guy that he fought, I don't believe that guy can crack an egg. My war was against Matisse when Matisse was Matisse.
Sure.
So, again, you don't look at past fights to compare and contrast. You know, people will say, well, what do you take away from him and Guerrero? Well, for one, I'm not Guerrero. I'm a little bit of a bigger man than Guerrero. And that's not taking anything away from him, but you can't compare. February 16th, we'll see exactly what it's all about.
What John Molina is showing up? Which one? The one that throws 80 punches around, or the one that, you know what I mean, that...
Put it this way, I don't believe it'll be... it's going to be a great night of boxing, and I think it's going to be one of my best victories.
And I heard a quote from, I read an article, maybe, I'm sure you've read it by now, he said it's under 4 rounds. You don't go past 4 rounds.
Look it, and I said it like this. He's either a very cerebral guy, which I believe he is, because he's an articulate, very smart guy.
exactly.
Or he's as dumb as he looks. It's one of those two. It has to be. So he's trying to get me out of my game plan early, or he's as dumb as he looks. So to me, that's my backhanded compliment to him, because I'm glad he's confident. I don't want to fight a guy that's a dead horse. And as they say, talk is cheap. Proof is in the pudding, and I got a whole lot of pudding on 16. So it's going to be a good night. What's your prediction? A victory. A victory. I don't like to put the cart before the horse, and I don't want to say I'm going to knock you out, I'm going to do this. He's going to be in a real fight, for sure. Speak to like the training. You guys go through, for a fight like this, I'm not sure when you started, but let's say hypothetically you started around just before Thanksgiving, Christmas, you got New Year's, you have Valentine's Day. What's that mundane life like for John Molina going into camp? Like, I can't complain, missing all these holidays. Because I have a beautiful job. This is my job. I'm doing what I love to do. Don't get me wrong. There's nights where I'm like, damn, I can't eat the tamales. I can't eat the the food or the ham and the turkey. But where else am I going to get to punch? Instead of punching, I get to punch somebody. You know, and I love my job, and I'm very blessed to have the job that I have. But it is definitely someone's going to get their ass kicked because I had to suffer for that. Right. So 147 is pretty high. I mean, you've moved up in weight from 140 to 147. Wait, here's the kicker though. He wanted to fight at 40. He wanted it, not me. Oh, y'all fighting at 40? At 140. He wanted this fight at 40. I said, okay. I said, you haven't made that in about 4 years. That's what I was about to say. That's what we're leading into. So, I originally wanted it at 47. And he said, no, 40. And I looked like, all right, well, let's do it. 40 is fine. What's the fine if he misses weight? I don't want to disclose that, so I'm not. He hasn't made weight in a long time. That's what I'm saying. When I said, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, 47, let's do it. You thought that, actually, when they brought the fight to you, you assumed it was at 47. And they said, no, they want to do 40. I said, wait a minute. So now the negotiations unfolded. And then that's a whole other conversation. And we landed at 140. Wow. Not a catch weight, anything like that? Not a catch weight, no, 140. Wow. Now, speaking of moving up in weight, moving down in weight, catch weight, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia. Wow. Mikey's attempting to do something great. He stylistically, or technically speaking, he can do it. Will he do it? That's an uphill battle he's going to fight with Errol Spence. He's no joke. Earl's a big guy. I mean, I'm a big guy for my weight. You are big, 40. And he's a big guy. And it's kind of like the analogy I always use. You have a guy that does well in college football, and he's 5'6", and he's killing it in high school and in college, and then he goes to the league, and then you go up against a guy that's 6'7", a defensive back, and he's 5'6", defensive back, and you go against a 6'7" receiver. Not that athletically is he not on the level with him, but it doesn't hold up because that guy is just physically bigger man. I think that's how it's going to play out.
So you think?
I think Earl Spence is just a bigger man, and not
stops him, beats him up, or a decision.
It's hard to say, man, because
I'm sending flowers to the gym. That's what I think it's going to be.
Look at
I think it's going to be pretty bad, man.
Mikey, I respect Mikey, and I
love Mike. We all love Mikey.
Me and Mikey had a conversation. I told him flat out. I said, bro, if you check my interviews, I picked against you. If you win, you know, shame on me for doing that. Or if you lose. But I just think he's biting off a little more than he can handle.
What's the physical? You've gone up in weight. What does a fighter when he moves up in weight? What's that training camp like?
Well, it all depends. It all depends on who's in charge because a lot of these guys are not doing it right. I'm not saying that I'm the first guy to do it right, and I missed weight one time my whole career. But with that being said, it's a
Terrence Crawford fight.
Terrence Crawford, yeah. It's a benefit because you feel stronger. You don't have to deprive yourself. And a lot of these guys doing it the wrong way, they have to dehydrate themselves. That's the complete wrong way to making weight. They don't realize that if you do the hard work and start camp a little earlier and change your body composition as opposed to water weight, then you'll be able to pull out the dramatic finishes like I do because I still have the gas in the tank to do it.
Yeah, right, so, right. Mickey Bay.
Well, it's still, if you do it right, your body will be better for it because of it. If you don't do it right, it'll show.
Do you have an opinion on Snack and Victor Conte?
I think they're definitely talented. He has a great insight. But there's one thing that I'm not going to unveil yet that the world is missing, and they don't know how to do it. But when that bridge comes, I'm going to cross it. And I'm going to let everyone know.
As it relates to the training, or as it relates to Mikey?
In regards to training.
Okay.
But again, proof is in the pudding. Talk is cheap. I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but boxing's a show me sport. So let me show you, and then we'll go from there.
Now let's move down the ladder a little bit. 147. Are you going to campaign stay at 140, or are you going to camp? What do you think you're going to do?
Well, it all depends. What the world don't know is that there's a rematch clause in this contract for the fight. I don't know why we wanted that. I don't know, but there is. And
that's better for you, though.
I don't mind, but here's the thing.
Job security.
Let's make the fight. After this fight, maybe that rematch clause will dissolve. We'll see. There's an old saying in boxing with sparring partners. Oh man, you hit that guy so hard, he just cracked his radiator. He locked his keys in his car. What do you mean? It's tomorrow. Well, no, trust me, he locked his keys in his car. So we'll see what happens that night. 147,
one of your former opponents, Adrian Broner fights.
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, yes.
I'm picking Pacquiao to win that fight.
How and why?
I think Pacquiao still has shades of himself. The hand speed, his active, being busy. Adrian Broner is, if he pop shots, it's not going to work against Pacquiao. If he lives up to what Adrian can live up to, it can be an interesting fight.
Sean Porter is fighting the kid
Adrian
from Cuba.
Granados.
No, that's Danny Garcia.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I forget the kid.
He's fighting the Cuban kid.
Yeah.
How you like that fight? I thought he got the toughest draw. When they unveiled, I was like, Caleb and Uzakaki.
That's a tough fight too. But Sean Porter's fight, Sean is just a dog.
He is a dog. Similar to you.
He's a strong. I mean, you're gonna be in a fight. And the guy that he's fighting, I'm not too familiar with him, but from my understanding, he's very crafty.
Sturdy kid.
And yeah, he's a real guy at that weight. But stylistically, it's gonna be a great fight. You can't bet against Sean because he's kind of on a hot streak right now. But he better pack his lunch for this fight because it's going to be a good fight.
Now, speaking of Caleb Plant Uzakaki, how do you see that fight breaking down?
Man, how do I say without, Caleb's my boy. It's a tough fight.
It's a tough fight.
I'm going to be real. It's a very tough, and believe me, he knows it, and he's preparing. He's going to do everything humanly possible to be prepared for that fight.
It looks like he is. I follow him on Instagram. It looks like he's going to.
And as he should. But wow, that's a tough mission ahead of him. I believe. I'm not doubting him. I know it may look in my demeanor like it's doubt, but I think it's a tough fight.
Now, there's been some rumblings going on about Terrence Crawford's resume, and what's your impression of Terrence Crawford's skill? Have you been in the ring with him, and in terms of his resume? Mikey Garcia said yesterday he's only fought Gamboa or anything like that, and I know you're one of his former opponents. What's your take on it?
It's hard for me to get.
Because I understand there was a lot of politics in your fight.
It wasn't even so much politics. It was a lot of moving parts behind closed doors. But again, I don't want to come out and say all that because everyone's, it was an excuse. He is one of the best in the world, pound for pound. Hands down. The guy is a talented individual. So it's hard for me to make a judgment based off our performance with him. But I think he's definitely a talented fighter, and he deserves every accolade and everything he's earning to this point in his career. And if he wants it, why not? Why not mix up with the Earl Spences, the Keith Thurmans of the world, and the Danny Garcias and the Sean Porters? And I think he deserves it.
Now, 140 is kind of heating up a little bit. After they get done with the WCC, you have Ramirez, you have the winner of the WBCC. I'd say it'll be Pro Gray, and you got Hooker at 140, right?
Yes. I think Hooker would be the guy I would love.
Why?
Well, I don't want to. Let me rephrase that, and you might want to edit that. That sounds like I'm picking and choosing. I've never.
Well, you have the right to. I mean,
but I've never.
You're an OG in the game, man.
What I'm saying is the other two, Pro Gray,
Regis Pro Gray.
He impressed me from an outside perspective. To
y'all would be that would be must see TV. You and him.
I would love to fight him as well. I think he's talented. This is not me down talking him or talking crap. From what I've seen from a distance, and I do pay attention, he's a talented fighter. I would love to test those waters. The other cat that's with Robert Garcia, Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez.
He looks talented as well. He looks a little light to me though. A little. But again, that's a perspective. I haven't been in the ring with him. So anybody at 140, I'll be interested to get it on with. And then Hooker, I don't see it. I don't see it.
You wasn't impressed with the Salcedo win?
No. I just don't see it. And that's not a knock on him. But being a fighter, I've been in this game a long time. I can look and see something. Again, looking and watching from a distance as opposed to being in the ring with him, it's completely different. But I don't see it.
When's the commentating coming?
Soon. Soon when I believe I should be the one out there doing it. But let me focus on this fight and talk to Uncle Al and see what's up.
Why you call him Uncle Al?
I'm just making a joke.
I know.
But in regard, I mean,
yeah,
he's the mastermind, man. He's the guy that orchestrates everything from a distance. So
appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. I didn't ask you about Deontay Wilder. He's a hot topic right now.
Yes.
Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and moving forward.
I have a whole new respect for Tyson Fury. To get up off the canvas after taking a shot from arguably the hardest puncher in the world, heavyweight division, the baddest man on the planet, and fighting the way he fought, doing what he did, Tyson being who I'm talking about, I respect that man. The comeback that he came back from, I thought he was doing far more in the fight. Again, there's going to have naysayers saying, well, wait a minute, the 10 count was long, and that's BS. It wasn't a long 10 count. There's a criteria to judge that the referee is given to protect these fighters. Whether that, and if you actually stopwatch it and time it, it's probably 20 seconds. He's got to judge the fighter, assess them, and say, okay, can he defend himself? Okay, get back in there. We don't time that. It's at his discretion, is what I'm saying.
So you go Fury 1?
It's hard to say because Deontay Wilder is my countryman. He's my stablemate under Al Heyman. But I think with those two knockdowns, damn good he got those two knockdowns. Put it that way.
So you're satisfied with the draw?
If I'm Tyson Fury,
so basically you had Tyson Fury win. Okay, so moving forward.
I don't want to say without. I thought Tyson Fury fought the fight of his life.
Okay.
I thought he fought his ass off. But on the other side of the coin, to drop a man that's 250 pounds.
Wow.
And Tyson was a brother. And Deontay Wilder was 212 pounds. that speaks volumes of Tyson Fury's power, or Wilder's power.
Let me ask you that. You're a man that understands weight classes. Should Deontay Wilder be in the pound for pound list because he fights under 210 and he fights these guys 250, or is it just a heavyweight? You're a heavyweight.
It's a good question. It seems like it would be an unfair advantage, but the guy can crack. And can you imagine him at cruiserweight?
He said he wants to be cruiserweight champion of the world one day.
Can you imagine? I mean,
that's
the
disgusting.
way he hits,
that's disgusting.
And he can make it because me and him have the same size legs. he can make it.
Yeah, you guys have real athletic builds. You're right, real lean.
He's wow. If I was him, he's not gonna want to do that. I mean, he's making his money now. Why go back? I mean, why not eat a cheeseburger when you can eat a cheeseburger? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but again, that's coming from a guy that's made weight his whole life. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I think Deontay Wilder is one of the best. I think he's better than Joshua for sure. And I don't see that fight happening for a while. No.
Did Eddie Hearn ever reach out to you?
No. I don't know. Like I said, I don't like to unveil any information. But with that being said, good luck to them. I'm
Your #1 fan is right there.
Primo. But
he be betting the house on you.
He's gonna have to bet the house on this fight.
All right, for sure.
Bet the house on this fight. But yeah. I'm glad that Eddie Hearn's doing what he's doing because there's a lot of money to be spent for these fighters that are making their money. So kudos to them.
My last question: Abner Mares, Tank Davis.
Wow. Abner's my boy, but I think Tank that's a big guy at 130. I think Abner can pull it off. But I think it's going to be, again, an uphill battle.
Did you hear what Uncle Al said when Abner called him?
No.
We were here last week for the press conference, and he said he called Al, and he tried to impersonate Al, too, with a deep voice.
Yeah.
And he says, Tank, 130? He says, yeah, I want Tank. He says, the lightweight champion of the world? He says, I want him. So
look it, he asked for it.
Yeah, and he got it.
And maybe he's got an ace in his pocket. Maybe he knows what he's going to pull out and put on the table and come out victorious. And guess what? Good job for Abner, but it's a tough fight. And I take my hat off to him for taking that fight.
Absolutely right.
He didn't have to go that way. He can go somewhere else. But
you've been in tough fights the past 3 years, though.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself some credit, too. Yeah. And your last fight, speaking of Tyson Fury getting up off the canvas and getting a win, what was Ivan Redcash your last fight?
Well, let me say this. To get up off the canvas is tough, and it's hard to do. But you can't compare the accolades of the guys that were fighting. Without disrespecting Ivan Redcash, he was a fight that was just a fight for me. And it was shame on me for getting caught by a guy like Ivan Redcash. Not a bad fighter, but not a world beater. That's kind of like my backhanded compliment to him as well. But I ended him. Where is he now? I think he might be fighting on this card actually.
Oh really? So he may show up. He may show up.
I might slap him around again. We'll see. But he's a good guy.
How's it going, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you.